What is going on, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you live through speakerphone with Dallas Stewart. Dallas, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Ready for week 4.
Week 4, about to do the NFL Week 4 game picks of the 2020 season with Dallas Stewart. And first off, we want to talk about some things that we just heard because there's some concerns going on because 2 NFL teams are suspending in-person activities in first COVID-19 disruption of the season, which is the Tennessee Titans, and the other team taking the precaution is the Minnesota Vikings. So it's not. I hope that it doesn't get something too serious because I know the Titans are playing the Steelers this week. Let's hope that game. They're looking like they're still trying to possibly play that game, but if it's disrupted and that could there be a likely postponement? And the Vikings are taking that step too, but it was the Titans that had the couple players and staff members test positive. So there's definitely some concern there with the NFL season with the first little outbreak. Thoughts, Dallas?
Yeah, they're definitely, if there's a postponement, that's not good.
Yeah, it's definitely not good for the league and that too.
I know they want to try to get this season in.
They do.
If they postpone a game, it affects the scheduling. How do they make it up? You know.
Yeah.
Well, how does it affect the rest of the season?
Yeah, but let's hope everything turns out all right. But just damn, did not expect that to come up. But all right. Other than that, Week 4 game picks. First off, we got the Denver Broncos coming off of a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going on to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football. The Jets just got pistol whipped by the Indianapolis Colts, and Jeff Driscoll versus Sam Darnold. Both. It's just both these teams are just bad. Both 0-3. Someone's gonna get their first win of the season. And I think that someone's going to be the Denver Broncos. So I'm taking the Denver Broncos with Jeff Driscoll to get a win over the New York Jets. I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to take Denver as well. The Jets are a train wreck, and there's rumors that if the Jets lose this game, that Case is more than likely going to get fired.
I know Gangrene David and a bunch of other Jets fans are going to be celebrating that. Would this be a week that Jets fans hope they lose to get Adam Gase shown the door, like you said about Jay Gruden, if his key card works the next day?
Oh yeah, maybe, but both teams are just horrific.
They both are.
I'm glad that game's not on Fox. That's not worthy of being on Fox.
Yeah, but yet it's a Thursday Night Football game.
It is.
Yeah.
Not much of a matchup.
Nope. Up next, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Detroit Lions. The New Orleans Saints lost to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football back on Sunday. The Detroit Lions upset victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you, Detroit, by the way.
Yep, thank you, Detroit.
Thank you, Lions. Thank you, Detroit, for that upset. Helps us out in the division. So thank you. But you're in for a letdown. I'm taking the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints to get to 500. They're a little bit of a desperate team. The defense has looked really bad the last 2 weeks. The Lions are due for a letdown.
Yeah.
The line is only New Orleans -4, so they're not as big of a favorite as I thought they were going to be. But I'm taking the Saints.
Yep.
They could not afford to lose this game, or they start to get in desperation mode if they somehow kick this game against the Lions.
Yeah, but we got the Saints in this one. Other than that, thank you Lions for beating the Cardinals for us last week.
Yep.
Thank you, Detroit. But it's going to be a letdown against the Saints at home. Up next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers going to Tampa Bay Raymond James Stadium to take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chargers coming off of an 0-2 start at SoFi Stadium, losing to the Carolina Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater, all because they tried to hook and lateral on the last play, tried to get to Austin Eckler. Eckler couldn't get on that, and basically it was a fumble, and the Panthers recovered to win. So Tampa Bay obviously coming off of a win in Denver. Pretty convincing win in Denver for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, Justin Herbert versus the GOAT, Tom Brady. I'm going to be taking, obviously, I'm taking the more experience of Tom Brady and Tampa. I'm taking the Buccaneers to get a win against the LA Chargers.
I'm taking Tampa as well to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's
starting to get on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, Tampa's first in the NFC South right now because of those 2 Saints losses.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. All right. Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who tied with the Eagles last week. And the Jaguars, I guess Fitzpatrick's beard was just too much for Minshew's stash.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yep. The bearded wonder of Ryan Fitzpatrick was too much for the mustache of Gardner Minshew, as Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins just steamrolled the Jaguars in Duval in their Florida battle. And the Bengals, man, dang, that tie though, man, but someone's going to have to win. Both these teams are just, oh man, granted Joe Burrow is going to be the future of the Bengals at quarterback and all too, and Gardner Minshew. At least the Jags are actually trying and all that stuff too. But for once, I think this might be the week where Joe Burrow gets his first win as a starter. He already has 2 losses, a tie. I think he's due for his first win. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to take the Bengals.
I'm going to take Cincinnati as well to get their first win. They've been competitive all three of these games. Jacksonville just looked absolutely horrendous. I do not know how they beat Indianapolis in week 1. But I'm going to take Cincinnati, even though both teams are pretty damn bad.
Yeah. Up next, we got a battle of 2 0-3 teams. The Minnesota Vikings going to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Man, Minnesota's, same thing like we said. Minnesota was taking that freaking precaution as well, like the Titans. But Minnesota coming off of a 1-point loss to the Tennessee Titans, and Houston coming off of getting beat by the freak. They were in front for a little bit, but then that Pittsburgh defense, like I said, it was that Pittsburgh defense, and they just blew it to Pittsburgh there too. But Deshaun Watson and them, they kept that fight in there, kept it close for a while, ultimately blowing it. But I'm going to take Houston to get their first win of the year at home against Minnesota. So I'm taking the Texans to get their first win. Let's see if Deshaun Watson can get them going, see if Brandon Cooks can get going, Will Fuller and Kenny Stills can get something going, and see if Houston's defense can shut down Dalvin Cook and Minnesota's offense and get pressure on Kirk Cousins. But man, 2-0-3 teams, but I got Houston getting their first win.
Yeah, this is a tough one because both teams are very desperate for a win. Both teams are big disappointments after both making the playoffs last year. This is a tough one. I might probably have to go with Houston.
Because of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if
any of these teams lose.
I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota won.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Both teams are in desperation mode.
Both of them are, man. One team's going to be 0-4. One team's going to be 1-3. All right.
Yeah.
Up next, we got our game. We got the Seattle Seahawks our Seattle Seahawks coming off of a big home win against the Dallas Cowboys, taking on the Miami Dolphins, which we said earlier, Fitzpatrick's beard was just too much for Minshew's stash to handle. All right, so basically, hopefully this time around, DK Metcalf finally has it in his head not to freaking celebrate too early because it almost came back to bite us in the ass. Russell Wilson, another 5-touchdown pass game, back-to-back weeks, and Russell Wilson should have been 6 if DK didn't do that thing, but man, 14 touchdown passes in the first 3 weeks of the season. New NFL record set by Russell Wilson for most touchdown passes in the first 3 games. Russell Wilson now leads it, sets the all-time record with that. And obviously Miami coming up, they got Kyle Van Noy on their defense, and they also got a familiar face that we know from when he played his college days at Washington, Myles Gaskins. They got Jordan Howard at running back too. And then, of course, a really underrated tight end in Mike Gesicki. It's going to be I mean, if we can just shut those guys down and if Russell keeps on cooking, then we should be able to have our way. I mean, Jamal Adams is hurt, so he'll probably be resting. And I don't know if Chris Carson's going to be playing. We got some injuries of our own, but I like our run defense and that too. I mean, but secondary's got to play a hell of a lot better, so Ken Norton got to have a better plan for this game going up against the Dolphins. I'm not sleeping on the Dolphins with how close they played the Bills, but I think we get the 4-0. I think we can get it done in Miami. Russell Wilson, we need to get that Florida monkey off his fucking back because he hasn't won a freaking NFL game in Florida yet. But I think this is where Russell Wilson finally gets the Florida monkey off his back. I'm taking the Seahawks.
Yeah, I got to go with our hometown Seahawks to get to 4-0. It'd be nice if it doesn't come down to the wire, but with all the injuries, it just might. It'd be also nice if our secondary could play better.
Yeah, but at least we're getting turnovers.
And the weather probably going to be stormy. The game probably gets maybe delayed in the middle of it because of thunderstorms.
I hope not.
I hope we don't suffer any more injuries.
Yeah, I just don't want any more injuries, but mainly I don't want a freaking weather delay like they had in their last home game against the Bills. You know, I don't want a weather delay. No weather delays, please. We just want to get the game done fast.
The Seahawks can't afford to lose. You can't afford to stub your toe in Miami against an inferior team.
Yeah.
If you want to go where you want to go this year.
Yeah, but you know.
You fall for a trap in Miami.
Yeah, let's just hope we don't fall for that trap. Either we get Fitz magic, but we're hoping to get Fitz tragic. Right?
Yep.
All right, moving on. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Well, let's just hope that one gets played. I mean, the COVID issues is real, like I said, with Tennessee. But, I mean, Tennessee Titans coming off a 1-point win because of a big 55-yard field goal by Steven Gostkowski. He made 6 field goals in that game from last we heard. Gostkowski finally getting in his rhythm with the Tennessee Titans as their kicker. Pittsburgh Steelers, that really good. I think right now they got one of the best pass rushes in the league right now. And obviously Minka Fitzpatrick in their secondary. Pittsburgh's defense, man, I got to give Pittsburgh props for what they're doing on defense. They look dangerous right now. They look right now they're in first place in the freaking AFC South because of that Baltimore loss to the Chiefs last night on Monday Night Football. Steelers are first place in the AFC North, man. Steelers are rolling. That defense, man, that defense is carrying Ben Roethlisberger right now. But, I mean, we'll see what all happens with that too. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh Steelers in that just because of that defense and all too. I mean, this will definitely be an interesting game though too. See what the Titans do on their side of it. But I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. I know what you're going to go with that one too. I know.
Yeah, we're gonna
another split.
We're gonna disagree. We're gonna actually disagree this week, and I'm gonna go with Tennessee to get to 4-0. This is Pittsburgh's first
real test.
First winning team that they've played so far. The first 3 wins are against winless teams. And this is their first big challenge, and I don't think they come through on the challenge. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Tennessee at home.
The question is, will they get Derrick Henry going and Jonnu Smith?
Try to stay ahead in the AFC South.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry's going to have a big game. He did kind of get it going in Minnesota with their comeback win against the Minnesota Vikings. And then also but Pittsburgh, man, we got to be real. You got to give their defense props, though, man. We got to give their defense props for how good they've been playing. But yep, split number 2 on the season. This time it's during the 10 a.m. slate of games. Like last week, like a couple weeks ago when we had the split on Cincinnati and Cleveland in week 2. So we got split number 2 on the season. Up next, we got the Cleveland Browns going to Jerry World to take on the Dallas Cowboys, who we beat by 7 points because of that DK Metcalf touchdown at the end. And obviously, Greg Zuerlein missing a PAT and then having one blocked by Trey Flowers and then giving up Zeke Elliott, us styming him in the end zone for the safety, stripping Dak Prescott in the second half after the Shaquille Griffin interception after they given up 5 touchdown passes to Russell Wilson. Russell cooked the Cowboys secondary up last week, man. But we loved it. But yeah, Cleveland Browns obviously ran all over. It was close for a little bit, but then they pulled away against that Washington football team. They're in Dallas this time. They got a real different test, but I think, this is where, if the secondary's still banged up, how much do we see of Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry against that freaking secondary? I think we're going to see a lot of Baker Mayfield bombs trying to bomb it to Odell Beckham Jr. and Landry this game. And the Dallas Cowboys, desperate, this will be interesting. If they lose to the Browns, if the Cowboys lose to the Browns, oh man, we're probably going to get the most epic troll of Stephen A. Smith's career if the Cowboys lose this game. But I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to bounce back in this one because I think Zeke's going to, pending on if they can get the running game going in that too. And then obviously the receiver core with CeeDee Lamb and freaking Gallup and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper barely did anything against us last week. And then, of course, you got Cedric Wilson, who had 2 touchdowns against us, too. Cedric Wilson actually looks pretty good. But, yeah, I'm taking Dallas. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah, I'm taking Dallas. I know Cleveland has won 2 in a row, but it's been against not very good teams. I think the Cowboys end their little mini winning streak, but also them feeling good about themselves. I'm going with the Cowboys to get to 500.
Yeah, but something? If they lose, I cannot. If the Cowboys lose to the Browns, I gotta see that freaking Stephen A. Smith troll job, just to get the laughs out,
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? It was cool seeing them do it after we beat them last week. All right, Up next, we got the Arizona Cardinals going to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers. Last year when these two teams faced, it was Kyle Allen as the Panthers quarterback who carved up the Cardinals in Arizona. Now they're in Carolina. And obviously, Kyler Murray, coming off of his first loss of the season, throwing 3 interceptions against the Detroit Lions. And the Panthers coming off of their first win of the season in L.A. against the L.A. Chargers. Bridgewater's first win as the Panthers quarterback. Matt Rule's first win as the Panthers head coach. And no Christian McCaffrey this game. But, I'm going to take Arizona to bounce back here. But, God, I would love to see the Panthers pull an upset. But I think I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to bounce back and get to 3-1. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm picking the Cardinals to bounce back and get to 3-1.
Yeah.
They're probably a little ticked off from losing to the Lions last week.
Yeah, I bet they are after those 3 interceptions and all that stuff, too. But, yeah. Yes, but if Carolina could pull an upset, that would be awesome, man. We would definitely love to see it.
For the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, it definitely would be. But moving on. Up next, we got the Indianapolis Colts coming off of that massacre of the New York Jets, going to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. The Bears who pulled that big comeback after finally benching Trubisky in Week 3 as Michael Mathis predicted and putting in Big Dick Nick Foles in to lead that comeback. I think in that game, that's the first time in Jimmy Graham's career where he's caught a touchdown from 2 different quarterbacks in the same game. And, man, Nick Foles just led a crazy-ass comeback, and the Bears defense got some big stops in that game, pulled off the crazy comeback, and got the win. They are freaking a surprise 3-0 team right now. And Indianapolis, obviously, at 2-1. This might be another tough choice here, I like that Bears defense a lot more than freaking Indianapolis, which we know Xavier Howard, the former Viking, had some interceptions and all too. And then, man, the Colts, let's be real, they were just playing the Jets. I'm gonna take Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears to get another win against Indianapolis and go to 4-0. I'm taking the Chicago Bears.
I'm taking the Bears as well, but they might be the worst. They might be the worst 3-0 team in the league. I hate to say it. They easily could be 1-2.
Yeah, definitely could easily be 1-2.
They found a way to come back in 2 of those games.
One with Trubisky, and then obviously last week with
Nick Foles. Yeah.
Nick Foles, the Nick Foles era will officially begin. Hopefully he doesn't get injured this time for Chicago, and they don't have to go back to Mitchell Trubisky. All right.
No.
Up next, Ravens versus Washington. Ravens coming off of that loss against the freaking Chiefs last night, and Washington coming off of losing to the freaking Browns. Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens are going to cover that. The Ravens are going to cover that 13. They are. They're not going to be in a very good mood when they get to Washington.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Rams versus the LA Rams and the New York Giants at SoFi Stadium. Rams.
Rams in an absolute slaughtering. The Giants got absolutely bulldozed at home against just a banged up, beaten up 49ers team.
With a bunch of
The
backups.
Rams had a great comeback, but blew it late against the Bills.
Yep.
They're going to beat the hell out of the Giants.
All right. Up next, we got the first time in history we got freaking Cam Newton versus Patrick Mahomes. We got New England Patriots going to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Cam Newton versus Patrick Mahomes. And obviously the Patriots coming off of that big win at home against the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Chiefs coming off of a big home win. That Chiefs defense showed up. They made the Ravens look like they did in that freaking divisional round when the Ravens lost to Tennessee. That Chiefs defense came to play. And then also the offense, man, they were carving up the Ravens defense. I mean, Watkins, Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, and a freaking underhander touchdown to an unexpected tight end in that game, which was pretty insane. That number 42. And Patriots, they still got a good defense in that too. And Burkhead had like three. Rex Burkhead had 3 touchdowns in that game for the Patriots too. Burkhead had a good game for the Patriots. But other than that, in this one, I think the Chiefs keep on rolling. I'm going to take Kansas City to get a home win against the New England Patriots. I'm taking Kansas City.
I'm taking Kansas City and Patriots for them to drop back to 500.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got the Buffalo Bills going to Sin City to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Thank you, Buffalo, last week. I know you almost choked it, but thank you for getting it done at the end and handing the Rams their first loss of the year. Thank you, Buffalo.
Thank you, Buffalo.
Thank you, Buffalo. Thank you, Bills. And for that, I'm going to, because you guys are way more stacked than the Raiders, you're going to freaking go into Sin City and you're going to hand the Raiders their first home loss of the year in Vegas. You're going to have some fun rolling dice in Vegas and hitting it big on the football slots in this game. I'm taking the Bills.
I'm taking the Bills to get to 4-0 and to drop the Raiders to 500. Bills look like the class of the AFC so far.
They do. Up next, the Sunday Night Football game. Why the hell is this even a Sunday Night Football game? Freaking San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Why the hell is this a freaking Sunday Night Football game? 49ers with their backups will go into Philly and beat the Eagles. I'm taking the 49ers.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm taking the 49ers, actually. It's actually at Levi's. But they could
With
play
Levi's?
it in the parking lot, and
Yeah.
49ers would still win with their backups.
Dang, I put it out of order right there. That's my bad. I usually never put that thing out of order. So that game's in Levi Stadium?
Eagles, I mean, you tied with the Bengals.
Yeah, they tied with the freaking Bengals. How the fuck do you tie with the Bengals? Damn, I mean... But yeah, they're going to get smacked by Frisco's backups.
Yeah, Nick Mullins is probably going to carve up the Eagles secondary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
the NFC East is an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, man. So this game's in Santa Clara?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Up next, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who choked 2 weeks in a row. Another big choke by the Falcons. Going to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. Green Bay wins big.
Yeah, Green Bay should win rather easily. I don't know what the Falcons have left anymore. They're probably a team that's just so demoralized.
All right.
Internally.
Yep, and that's it for...
Clinton, you could be fired pretty soon.
By one of his old people, because Matt LaFleur, I think, was on the Falcons squad with Dan Quinn. Matt LaFleur has a chance to get his old boss fired.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. And that is week 4 for the 2020 NFL season picks. We got the Broncos over the Jets, the Saints over the Lions, the Buccaneers over the Chargers, Bengals over the Jaguars, Texans over the Vikings, Seahawks over the Dolphins. We got the Steelers over the Titans. We got the I got Pittsburgh. Dallas has Tennessee. We split on that. Got the Cowboys over the Browns, Cardinals over the Panthers, Bears over Colts, Ravens bouncing back against Washington, Rams killing the Giants, Chiefs beating the Patriots, Bills killing the Raiders, 49ers beating the Eagles, and the Packers beating the Falcons, and that's freaking week 4 for our picks. We went 10-5-1 last week because of that tie, and let's see how we do this week for week number 4. I mean, week 2 so far has been our best week ever this year, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Drop your picks in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, ring the bell for notifications, and we'll catch you on the next one. If you ain't with it, you ain't infamous, and as always, go Seahawks.